Americans overwhelmingly oppose war with Iran, and Senate Republicans have a duty to stand up for Americans by forcing Donald Trump to reverse course. Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth as they bumble us headfirst into another war.
What Schumer is horrible. What a horrible politician. He is now a Palestinian officially. He is registered as a Palestinian. He's taken the biggest turn of any human being I've ever seen. He's gone from totally...
Washington just exploded into chaos. President Trump didn't simply respond to Chuck Schumer, he absolutely dismantled him. And honestly, Trump may have just exposed one of the biggest political failures of Schumer's career. I'm going to break down exactly why Trump's criticism hit so hard, why Schumer's stance is causing outrage, and why this showdown is sending shockwaves across Washington. Trump came out firing on all cylinders. No hesitation. No holding back. He accused Schumer of being dangerously soft on Iran and warned that weakness only empowers hostile regimes. Trump argued that you cannot trust leaders who openly threaten America while expecting peace through empty negotiations. According to Trump, strength is the only language Iran understands. You draw clear boundaries, enforce serious consequences, and make it known that America will never back down.
And as president, you sort of don't make campaign contributions. So it doesn't even... But I heard you were at $19 million today. I said, has that ever been done? No, sir, it's a record, but 20 would sound better, right, Mike? Yes. He said, I'm going to give you $1 million. It's the first time I've done it. I never did it before. I never did it before. I never did it before. Now I'll be hit up by every political group, every Republican running. Sir, could I have some, give me a little cash. I'll have Emmer come up to me and say, how about a little cash for my campaign? I will no longer have the excuse that as president, anyway, no, but we had to hit the 20, right? We had to hit the 20. That was a hell of a thing. You beat it by a lot. You beat the record, the previous record by a lot. But I want to thank House Republicans for passing another common sense measure. To me, the easiest of all, the Save America Act to protect our sacred American. Look at this. Look. It's the easiest thing we have. It's the easiest thing we have. Now, the problem is you call it the Save Act. And nobody knew what the hell the Save Act. Have you been seeing, I've been working overtime the last month. It's called the, capital the Save America Act. And I saw Schumer yesterday, we will stop Save America. He's getting killed. They can't do it. And then the things within the Save America are so good. But just the title. So we had that with MAGA. Greatest name of all time. Make America Great Again. MAGA. It just worked. You know, I had something, Keep America Great. It was good, but it didn't have that MAGA. You know, there was nothing you could see. I had CAG. And CAG, I said, you know, no longer, that's not good. But MAGA is great, and we'll always respect MAGA. We love MAGA. We're never going to let you down with MAGA. But this one's even better if you think about it. This says, America. We're going to save America. The Save America. How can they fight us? The Save America Act. And I've watched them. I watched Schumer, who's horrible. What a horrible politician. He is now a Palestinian officially. He is registered as a Palestinian. He's taken the biggest turn of any human being I've ever seen. He's gone from totally pro-Israel to totally pro-Palestinian. He wants to protect the Iranian people that are quite nasty. But it's very simple. All voters must show the act. Voter ID. Ready? This is not complicated. Voter identification. Now, if, you know, I have a whole list, but I don't want to put, I have like hundreds of things on the list. If you go shopping, if you do this, if you buy a car, if you license a car, if you point to everything you need to have identification. So all voters have to show identification. ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship, in order to vote. So you have ID and you have citizenship. So far, good. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. Mail-in ballots are a disaster. Jimmy Carter, the best thing he ever did, he headed a commission after he was president. It was the single best thing, and he did a thing on mail-in ballots. He said mail-in ballots should not be allowed because they are inherently dishonest. And we have seen it time and time again, and we just keep going with it. And I put that down as a top 3. Look, no mail-in. Now, you have the exceptions for the military, and I would even say foreign-based military. But for the military, for disability, for illness, and if you're traveling, you have an excuse. And I was lenient on that. But those 3 things. Then I added 2 more. These are best of, best of. These are called best of Trump. We should also add on to this bill. And so what I've asked Mike to do is to draw a new one with these few things added. And let's go for the gold. Let's not just get one like voter ID, but, it can be given to you by your daughter. Your daughter, she has to be of age, like above 6 years old, she's allowed to say. You had to see some of this stuff is so bad. They're doing everything possible because they know if we get this, they probably won't win an election for 50 years, okay? And maybe longer. And they're going to fight like hell. But boy, do they get killed. Because even the Democrats, you saw the numbers today, Democrats voted 86% that this stuff should be passed. The Democrats. With Republicans, you're at 98%. But Democrats are at 86, except for the people that run the Democrat Party, because they want to try and win elections illegally. It's the only reason you vote against voter ID is because you want to cheat. There's no other reason. They come up with reasons. They say, it's racist. That's their number one, racist. Then you have to explain it, and they're just sitting there mumbling. They can't explain it. And it's actually very insulting when they use the term racist. Very insulting to the people that they're trying to so-called defend, but they're not defending. Then I wanted to add 2 more to it because they're, I say 95%, maybe 100%. No men in women's sports, very simple. Add that in. And I wanted to add in one other, I'm not even adding in no open borders because, there's some people that like open borders. These people are crazy, but that's okay. Because I want 5 things that are like close to 100%. No transgender mutilation surgery for our children. You can't have transgender for our children. So those 5 things. 5 things. Voter ID, citizenship, mail-in ballots, no mail-in ballots. Right? We don't want men playing in women's sports. That's got to be about close to 100%. We don't want men playing in women's sports and no transgender mutilation of our children. Now, that should be the easiest thing to get past that you've ever had. Each one, it's best of Trump. Those are best of Trump. I have some that are very popular, but I wouldn't put them in that category. This is the number 1 priority. It should be for the House. And I'd like to ask Tom, Steve, Mike, all of you, if you would, I'd like to have you go back and Lisa, hello, darling. She was screaming her affirmation of what I said. The kid went wild. She was so happy that somebody finally said, let's vote on this. Lisa, you're going to get it done. Okay, I'm going to count on you. Forget the men up here. I'm going to count.
Deal.
But it's actually a matter in a serious way of national survival. We can't have these elections going on like this anymore. You use paper ballots. If right now they have watermark, it's so safe, it's so good. You put it gets under a light. It says, a code. It's very, very hard to cheat. Another thing, and I don't even bring this up, it costs 7% the cost of those crazy machines. I love the machines where they get the machines, they spend all this money, and they announce during the election that the tabulation will go along for another 3 weeks. Right? With mail-in voting, there's not a country in the world that does mail-in ballots anymore. They tried it. France tried it. It failed.
That's what real leadership looks like. That's what putting America first means. And whether people like it or not, Trump has stayed consistent on Iran from day one. Meanwhile, Schumer shifts his position every time the political pressure changes. One minute he sounds tough, the next minute he's defending policies that already failed once before, and then Schumer calls Trump clueless. Seriously? Clueless? This is coming from the same politician who supported the 2015 Iran deal, a deal that poured billions into the hands of a regime known for sponsoring terror across the Middle East. That agreement didn't stop Iran's aggression. If anything, critics argue it gave them breathing room and more influence. And now Schumer wants to act like he's the authority on national security. People aren't buying it. His response to Trump felt weak, rehearsed, and completely political. There was no strong defense, no real explanation, just the same talking points Washington politicians always fall back on when they are cornered. And here's the part many media outlets avoid talking about: Trump's pressure campaign against Iran had measurable impact. Harsh sanctions hit Iran's economy hard. The Abraham Accords changed relationships across the Middle East in ways few thought possible. For a period of time, Iran appeared far more isolated internationally. Then those policies changed, tensions shifted again, and critics say Iran regained confidence almost immediately. That's why Trump's attacks on Schumer are resonating with so many supporters. They believe the results speak for themselves, and Schumer's comeback only reinforced the criticism instead of answering it. This debate goes far beyond political drama. It's about how America handles adversaries on the world stage. Supporters of Trump argue that projecting strength prevents conflict, while weakness invites it. They see the stakes as enormous, affecting allies, military personnel, and global stability itself, and while politicians trade insults on television and social media, voters are paying attention. They are watching two completely different visions of leadership collide in real time. One side presenting strength and pressure, the other defending diplomacy and negotiation. So here's the bottom line: Trump's supporters believe he exposed major flaws in Schumer's argument, and Schumer's response failed to change that narrative. For them, this wasn't just another political exchange, it was a moment that highlighted everything they dislike about career politicians in Washington. Share your thoughts below, keep the conversation going, and stay tuned because this debate is far from over.